James chapter 1 verses 2 through 11. Count it all joy, my brothers, when you meet trials of various kinds, for you know that the testing of your faith produces steadfastness. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. If any of you lacks wisdom, let him ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach, and it will be given him. But let him ask in faith with no doubting. For the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. He is a double-minded man, unstable in all his ways. Let the lowly brother boast in his exaltation, and the rich in his humiliation, because like a flower of the grass he will pass away. For the sun rises with its scorching heat and withers the grass, its flowers falls, and his beauty perishes. So also will the rich man fade away in the midst of his pursuits. Look at what Bible commentator Matthew Henry, one of my favorites, said about this. Our trials may be of many and different kinds, and therefore we have need to put on the whole armor of God. We must be armed on every side, because temptations lie on all sides. The trials of a good man are such as he does not create to himself, nor sinfully pull upon himself. Are we examining ourselves while we're going through these trials? God says he's not going to take us away from the trials. He's going to get us through them. He's going to be there with us. How is our attitude? Look at what Chuck Smith says of our attitude towards trials. I must look at each adversity as an opportunity for growth. Through this experience, I can become bitter or better. I can choose to walk in the Spirit or give over to my ugly flesh. The only way I could count it joy is by looking forward to the good fruit it can develop in my own personal development. Count it all joy. That's our attitude. What am I looking at when I'm going through these troubles? Am I having this woe is me attitude, which already going to lead to defeat? We have to look forward. Our outlook determines our outcome, right? The values that we have will determine our evaluations. How am I evaluating these trials? How am I evaluating my life? Well, what type of values do I have? Do I value Christ more than anything else? That's going to help, definitely. I'll be able to count it all joy. Of various kinds. There's many kinds of trials. Mental, physical, right? Natural. So many. Fill in the blank. We're all different. We all go through different trials. How is our attitude? Where's our values placed? Are we looking at the outcome in a correct manner? Or already with defeat? We have victory with Christ already. Let him guide us so that we can go through them, and he builds us. He gives us that growth. He matures us. He produces steadfastness, because it's a test. Are we passing these tests, or are we converting these tests into temptations by listening to our flesh? The only way we could pass these tests of trials is if we listen to God through faith, by his guidance. And if we fail, we're just basically asking for it if we're not asking for his help. If we listen to our voice, right, which is manipulated by demonic influences of the world. So we need to shut those off and listen to Christ, the Holy Spirit, his voice only. So that these tests don't become temptations that are naturally our desires that we produce in our mind. And that's very dangerous. And we're going to be stuck in those trials. So we're asking for it if we don't go to God, right, through prayer. And let steadfastness have its full effect, that you may be perfect and complete. Are we going to be perfect and complete? No, never. Not until the day of glory, until his return. Are we going to be lacking something? Sure we are. But with Christ, we're going to be lacking nothing, because he gives us his wisdom. And in turn, because we have fully submitted to him, it will fully affect us in a way that we are on our way to perfection and completion. Again, it's direction, not perfection. Not to be sinless, but to sin less, right? And the only way to do that is not through our intellect, which is futile, but through our wisdom that he gives us. It is his wisdom in us. So ask God, who gives generously to all without reproach. He has so much, he has abundant, it'll overflow. So ask. But when you do ask, have no doubt. Meaning, God, help me in this and that, but in the back of your mind, you kind of doubt it, right? I don't know if it happens. No, we must believe with all our heart. And again, there's three answers to prayer: is yes, no, and not yet. Are we patient in our prayers? Or are we even looking if they're even answered? Sometimes prayers are answered and we overlook them, or we look straight at them, but we don't even acknowledge them, and we don't even thank him for answering it, which creates doubt in us, right? But it shouldn't. If we only are looking, if we are only slowing down, right? Are we still and know? For the one who doubts is like a wave in the sea, tossed and fro by the philosophies of this world, by the people that sound nice but are totally liars, by wolves in sheep clothing, right? We're going to be tossed and fro like the wind. For that person must not suppose that he will receive anything from the Lord. How can the Lord give us what we want if we don't even know what we need? If we're not going to be paying attention to what he's giving us? How can we count it all joy when we doubt? When we're trying to do it on our own? God has given us everything that we need. Let us not be double-minded. Go to Christ when we want, when we need him only. Go to God all the time, right? On prayer, Lord, help me, help me. No, it doesn't work. It's not one-way street. It's a two-way street, right? It's like a father and his children. If his children disobey, dishonor, don't do anything, argue, only come to daddy when they want something, you think dad is going to bless them? You think daddy's going to listen to that? No, I know your heart. I know your intentions and your motives. I know you love me, but if you say you do, then you would actually honor and obey and do the things you're supposed to, right? So why should I bless you? If anything, I need to reprimand you. If anything, I need to discipline you. I'm not going to give you what you want. Why should I give you anything if you're not even doing anything for me? Honor, right? Respect, obedience. And there's obedience and honor. Obedience is doing what you're told. Honor is doing without being told. There's a big difference. Are we honoring the Lord? Is there integrity in our life? What type of character do we have? Is it influenced by the world or by God himself? Who are we representing here? Let us make sure we represent him correctly. Who are we trusting? But so when we ask, we must ask in faith, knowing with confidence that God is sovereign. He knows all. Even the bad things, quote unquote, that happen is going to be for our good. So we must not doubt what is going on, what he's doing. It'll be ultimately for my good if I'm looking, if I'm living my life in faith, in saving faith, in living faith, active, right? Not dead faith. So let us ask in that faith that he has given us. So let us be thankful for this day, for this faith. Why should we doubt when he has given this very thing? Verse 9, let the lowly brother boast in his exaltation and the rich in his humiliation. Let us be thankful. If we are lowly, let us be thankful that God has enriched us with his spirit. And if we are rich, let us not even consider the materials and be thankful that God has enriched in us with his spirit. We're both the same, right? Not in the world, obviously, materially speaking, but spiritually speaking, he has enriched us. So if we're lowly, let's exalt him. If we're rich, let's exalt him by being humble. Because like flowers of the grass, they will pass away. We will die. The sun rises, scorches with heat, withers the grass. It falls. We will die. Its beauty perishes. You will get old. We will get ugly. If we look at the outside, right? We look at the inner, the heart. Everyone is beautiful. So also will the rich man fade away in the midst of his pursuits. This is a reminder for us not to put our pursuits and our wants and our everything in materials. They will fade away. They will rust. Their value will diminish. It will be destroyed. Let us look at the afters of life, right? Not the nows. Yes, we appreciate the nows. Yes, we work hard. Yes, we do what we're supposed to get the things we want. It's nice, sure, but let's not put that first in line. Let them not become idols to us. God has to be first. We do everything for God. Seek God first. Let us seek Christ and his righteousness, and he will provide everything else. First, let's seek God. First, let's seek righteousness, right? Sanctification, to be more like Christ. And then when he sees our heart, he sees our motives that is in line with his, then he will provide and will give us the wants of this life materially, because we have already been abundantly secure in the spiritual and placed him first. He is our God, not the things of this world, not even us, right? I do as I say, and I do what thou I wilt. That's what a lot of people are saying, but it is what he wills. So let us die to ourselves, die to our flesh, our emotions, our thoughts, our wills, and live through his guidance. Listen to his voice. And our heart's desires will become his. Delight ourselves in the Lord first, and then he will give us the desires of our heart, because our heart is in line with his now. And we will have a better attitude, a better character that has endured, that's strengthened, right? Now we can count everything joy. Now we can say everything's a blessing. We thank him for our trials, because it is making us better, because it is making us more like him. I pray this blesses one, blesses many. God bless.